Good morning, students. Today we will discuss chapter number 4 of history, and the name of the chapter is the Mauryan Empire. There were three rulers in the Mauryan Empire. The first was the Chandragupta Maurya, second was the Bindusara, and the third was the Ashoka. And the Mauryan Empire was established in 321 BC in the wake of Alexander the Greek's conquest of part of India. And the empire was led by three major emperors. Chandragupta Maurya, his time period was from 321 BC to 298 BC. Bindusara, his time period was from 298 BC to 272 BC. And Ashoka, his time period was from 272 BC to 232 BC. Now, here are the sources which are providing us information about the Mauryan Empire. The first one are the literary sources. First is Arthashastra of Kautilya. Of all the literary sources on the history of the Mauryas, the most important source is the Arthashastra, and it was written by Kautilya, also known as the Vishnugupta, and Chanakya. He was the advisor and the prime minister of Chandragupta. Arthashastra is written in Sanskrit, and it is known as that it is a comprehensive manual that deals with politics, rules of diplomacy, principles of administration, and other such political topics. Source is the Indica. It was written by Megasthenes, and Megasthenes was the Greek ambassador at the court of Chandragupta Maurya. He had been sent to the court by Seleucus, the Greek ruler. He wrote a book named Indica, which contains his impressions of whatever he heard and saw during his stay in India. Megasthenes' original Indica has been lost, but its fragments still survive in the writings of later Greek authors. Now, archaeological sources. First is the Edicts of Ashoka. An edict is a decree issued by a sovereign. The Edicts of Ashoka form the most important source of Mauryan history. They are the oldest, best preserved, and pricely dated records of India. These edicts are inscribed on rocks and pillars throughout the country and include 14 major rock edicts, 7 pillar edicts, and a number of minor rock edicts. Next is Sanchi Stupa. What is a stupa? A stupa is a semi-spherical solid dome-like structure made up of unburnt bricks and stones. The Buddhist stupa has special significance. It represents the spiritual body of Buddha containing his relics such as hair, teeth, or bones. A casket containing these relics is placed at the base of the dome. The foundation of the Sanchi Stupa was laid by Ashoka at Sanchi, about 45 kilometers from Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh. Now let's just understand about the Mauryan Empire. First of all, the first king was the Chandragupta Maurya. He was known as the founder of the Mauryan Empire. He met Kautilya at Takshila. Kautilya, who later became famous as Chanakya, was the son of a Brahmin. Kautilya too was wronged by the Nandas. He therefore joined hands with Chandragupta to destroy the Nanda dynasty. And after a long series of battles with Chandragupta, the Nanda capital at Patliputra fell, and this led to the emergence of a new dynasty. And this new dynasty was the Mauryan dynasty, with Chandragupta Maurya as the emperor. In 305 BC, India was again attacked by Seleucus, a former general under Alexander. Chandragupta defeated Seleucus. According to the treaty signed with Seleucus, Chandragupta got Kabul, Kandahar, Herat, and Baluchistan. Chandragupta's empire extended from Kabul and Kandahar in the northwest to Mysore in the south, and from Bengal in the east to Saurashtra in the west. This is all about Chandragupta Maurya. Second ruler was the Bindusara. Bindusara succeeded his father Chandragupta Maurya. The Greek historian Athenaeus calls him a slayer of foes. He conquered many parts of South India after defeating 16 rulers during his rule, and he faced a revolt in Takshila. It was by his second son Ashoka, who was the governor there. Bindusara maintained friendly relations with the rulers of Greece. Next ruler was the Ashoka. Ashoka succeeded to the throne after his father's Bindusara death. On ascending the throne, Ashoka took the title Divangma Priya, means the beloved of the gods, and Priyadarshi, the beautiful one. Now, the most important event in the Ashoka's life was Kalinga War. What was that war? Kalinga War. After ascending the throne, Ashoka fought the famous Kalinga War. According to Megasthenes, the Greek historian, at the court of Chandragupta Maurya, the ruler of Kalinga had a very powerful army comprising infantry, cavalry, and elephants. Ashoka faced tough resistance. According to the Rock Edict 13, both sides suffered losses, but people of Kalinga suffered the most. Though Ashoka won the war, it had far reaching consequences for him and for his empire. Now, what were the consequences of the Kalinga War? The Kalinga War had profound effect on the policies and personality of Ashoka. The death and destruction caused by the Kalinga War brought about a great change in the personal and political life of the Ashoka. He abandoned the policy of conquest by force and ambition of victory in all directions and embraced policy of religions or Dhammagosha. Kalinga changed Ashoka's personal life also. He stopped hunting and eating meat and abandoned the life of luxury. The prisoners of war were used for agricultural work. Ashoka himself went on tours to preach Buddhism to people. He also sent missionaries to the various parts of the world. He sent his daughter Sangamitra and son Mahindra to Sri Lanka to propagate Buddhism religion. Ashoka, after the Kalinga War, embraced Buddhism and followed some of the Buddhist principles in his state policy, like nonviolence and disapproval of empty rituals. He got several pillars and edicts to spread the teachings of Buddhism. This is all about the consequences of the Kalinga War. Now, Mauryan administration. The Mauryan Empire, beginning with Chandragupta Maurya, was vast with all India character. What were the features of the all India character? The chief advantages of the pan Indian character of his empire were the following: it marked the end of the small states, it helped in establishing trade links with foreign countries, it made India strong and helped the Mauryan kings face foreign aggression successfully. And after Ashoka's victory over Kalinga, the era of conquest and wars was over, and it helped the Mauryan kings to pay more attention to social and economic life of the people. It was Chandragupta Maurya, under the guidance of Chanakya, who laid the foundation of an elaborate system of administration. And Ashoka made some changes in the empire which was very much needed. What were the changes? Ashoka added a new fifth province, Kalinga, in the existing four provinces with Tosali as its capital. The Mauryan centralized monarchy became a paternal despotism under Ashoka. In one of his edicts, Ashoka says, "All men are my children." Ashoka simplified many rigorous practices related to administration regarding taxation and crop collection. Ashoka appointed Mahamatris governors to look after the welfare of his subjects. Now, civil administration was further divided into central government and provincial government. What is central government? The Mauryan government was centralized and was managed by several officers of different ranks. The king was the supreme authority and his throne was hereditary. He was also the supreme judge, and Ashoka brought about some changes in the administrative system of Chandragupta Maurya's. He appointed Mahamatras to look after the welfare of his subjects. At the central level, the king was assisted by the council of ministers, and each minister was responsible for his department. The council of ministers included the chief pujari, which is called Purohit, Senapati, who advised the king on all matters relating to war and peace, and the head treasurer, who was called Shanidata, and Sumarta, the taxation expert. The other important officers were accountant general, one charge of agriculture, superintendent of mines, etc. There were four provinces, and Ashoka added one province, that was Kalinga, with its capital as Tosali. Here are the name of provinces with their capitals. Magadha, its capital was Patliputra. Gandhara, the capital was Takshila. Avanti, the capital was Ujjain. Southern province, the capital was Swarnagiri, and Kalinga, the capital was Tosali. Government, Ashoka made alterations only in the central government and not in the provincial government. During his grandfather's time, there were four provinces, and after the addition of Kalinga, Ashoka's time, there were five provinces, as shown below, or you can say as I have told you earlier. Now, district administration. The provinces were divided into districts called Janapadas. Their administration was looked after by Pradeshika, Rajuka, or Yukta. Administration of cities was there, the revenue system was there. The land revenue was the chief source of income of the modern empire. It was 1/6 to the fourth of the produce. Two kinds of taxes, namely Bali and Baga, very important taxes, are mentioned in the Edicts of Ashoka. Baga was levied on agricultural produce and cattle at the rate of 1/6, and according to Vincent Smith and Samarashri, Bali was a religious tribute. Spy system was also there in the modern empire. Chandragupta Maurya had a wide network of spies in his empire. There were spies against the spies, and on important matters, more than one agent was asked to collect information. Military administration was very good at that time. It included infantry, cavalry, elephants, and chariots. According to Megasthenes, the Mauryan Empire consisted of these readings you can read out. And the king was the commander in chief of the army. The whole army was under a military commissioner of 30 members. The Mauryan Empire had a well laid recruitment policies. Now Ashoka's Dhamma. After the Kalinga War, Ashoka became the people's king and he embraced Buddhism but did not impose it on his subjects. So he embraced Buddhism and he gave some dhammas which were supposed to be followed by the people. What were the principles of the dhammas? Respect for elders and love for children, ahimsa or non-violence, good deeds or good karma would give happiness to man in the next birth. He taught people to respect all religions. He disapproved empty rituals. What was the impact of Dhammas on Ashoka's imperial policy? Religious unity. People belonging to different religions followed their emperor's policy of religious tolerance. Moral values. People under the influence of Dhamma started living a moral life. And end of crimes. The policy of ahimsa did have a great moral impact on people. Thefts, crimes, and other such activities almost came to an end. And this resulted in prosperity and helped people to lead a very peaceful life. So, those students, this is all about this chapter. So, I'll be sending you short questions and structured questions. You have to do it yourself, and your syllabus is covered.